What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Clown Questions, the show where there are no dumb questions. I'm your host, Matt Clown Emoji, and yes, that is my legal government name. Today, I will be attempting to answer the question, why does NBC hate us? I'll also answer a few more questions on today's episode of Clown Questions. Who's down to clown?
That's a clown question, bro.
So, why does NBC hate us? I'll answer that in a second, but first off, I unfortunately do not have a guest this week. I am terrified of the Premiere Pro program on my computer. Last week, it turned the Goose interview into a 15-hour long upload, export, and then, it made me and Goose's takes look even more foolish than they already would have. We were high on the Nuggets. Nuggets are done. And unfortunately, the NBA on TNT is also done. I'm so sad. And why does NBC hate us? The answer, as is always the answer with these big corporate decisions, the answer to why does NBC hate us is money. Um, while they do have to pay $2.5 billion per year to air NBA games, they're still getting billions upon billions back in ad revenue. So yeah, it's a no-brainer for NBC. They don't have basketball coverage at all. Maybe college sports, but no NBA. Now they're gonna try to bring Sunday night basketball, and they're trying to make that a thing. And it's like, all right, NBC, you got me for football. I'll be there. Love Mike Tirico, but I hate you, NBC. You're ruining the best show, the best sports halftime show in the world, and that is Inside the NBA on TNT. I guess the TNT crew is over with, and if I ever run into the NBC executive that did this, it's on site. Okay. Luckily, TNT did get rights to a few college football playoff games, and that will be very cool to see because I don't think TNT has ever covered football. It'd be funny to see Charles Barkley and Shaq talk about football, but obviously they're more likely to stay in the basketball lane. If you are going to kill the TNT NBA variation, NBC, at the very least, pay the crew, get Kenny the Jet, get Chuck, get Shaq, and Ernie Johnson, most importantly. Not most importantly, but they're all very important parts to what is one of the few good, entertaining halftime shows, and I'm broken up about it. Luckily, we're not getting totally blindsided. NBA and TNT will still run for another year, but after that, it's done. So at least the boys will get their farewell tour. But man, I am broken up, as are most basketball fanatics, to hear this news. So NBC, do the right thing, hire back the same exact halftime crew, and everyone will shut up and they'll be like, all right, NBC, you did fine. Obviously it wouldn't be ideal because the guys would have to probably be a little more buttoned up, less jokes about the size of the women in San Antonio, stuff like that probably wouldn't fly on NBC. But yeah, for the love of all things sacred, get Ernie, get Shaq, get the Jet, get Chuck, and keep the show rolling. Let's go talk about something in the golf world that happened this weekend. Of course, it was the PGA Championship. So I have to ask the question, what did Scottie Scheffler do? I think the answer is nothing. They're still, investigating, and it hasn't all been set in stone, but it sounds like he was arrested on accident before the PGA Championship second round at Valhalla. The number one golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler, was arrested and hit with 4 charges, including felony second-degree assault on a police officer. Scheffler and his lawyers claim the incident was a big misunderstanding, and it appears prosecutors agree. Prosecutors are planning to drop all charges against Scheffler, according to Kevin Van Valkenburg of No Laying Up. So, yeah, it sounds like an accident. This would be a more interesting story if Scottie did do that. Not that I want anyone to assault a police officer, but clearly someone did, and the police officer obviously made a mistake here and arrested the wrong guy. And for the people who are saying, like, how do you arrest Scottie Scheffler and not realize, it's like, I don't think I would be able to, pick out Scottie Scheffler in a crowd. I'm not a golf fan, but I know a little something about golf. But if you're not a golf fan at all, there's, no reason for you to understand, for you to predict what this guy's, going to look like when you're not even in that world. And right now I'm pulling up a picture of Scottie Scheffler. Um, yeah, you couldn't pick him out in a crowd. He kind of looks like a financial analyst. So he has a pretty vanilla look to it. So anyone could make that mistake. And if a guy assaults a police officer and then says, wait, I'm a professional golfer, I'm in the PGA, you probably might not believe him initially, because you're like, well, you just assaulted me. Why would I believe you're some famous golfer? I'm not letting you off that easy. And we got a great mugshot from Scottie. But luckily, he did go on to win the PGA Championship. Damn, is he on fire? Oh shit. Wait, does that say Scottie Scheffler? Who? Xander Schauffele? Who the heck is Xander Schauffele? Oh, okay. I guess it was Xander Schauffele that won the PGA Championship, not Scottie Scheffler. I got confused. Their last names are very similar. Schauffele and Scheffler. They have a lot of the same vowels or consonants, but yeah, I guess congrats to Xander Schauffele on winning the PGA title. But yeah, it was easy for me to make that mistake there. Their names are near spitting images of each other. Um, Without a segue, I'll just get into the NBA a little bit here. Starting off with the question, is Kyrie Irving undefeated? The answer is yes. Kyrie Irving is actually 14-0 in closeout games. Obviously, that doesn't mean, he's never lost the playoffs. It just means anytime his team had 3 wins and a chance to win the series, he's won it. He's undefeated. This is an interesting storyline to me, because what this guarantees is that the Minnesota Timberwolves can only win the series in 6 or fewer games. They already dropped game 1. So it's essentially they would need to win in a 5-game series now. Because if it goes to 7, Kyrie has never lost a game 7. So good luck to the Wolves, and they were not able to contain Kyrie or Luka one bit in game 1. So the Wolves may be in a little bit of trouble. But the question about the league in general is the NBA back? Absolutely. Resounding yes. And that's for one reason. Parity is here. Parity is back. This year, we're going to have the 5th championship in as many years by a different team. And one of these 4 dudes are going to win their first NBA championship ever. Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, Tyrese Halliburton, or Jaylen Brown. And that is the subtle shot at Jason Tatum. Everyone and their mother has been picking the Boston Celtics, to quote Miles Turner. And everyone and their mother has also been talking about how overrated Jason Tatum is. Now, I don't want to comment on that, because I think the overrated moniker has kind of been slapped on him because he hasn't won the big one. He hasn't won a championship. And, you got similar, you always get this kind of treatment from stars. LeBron, 6 years into his career, the knock was he can't win a ring. Even went to Miami, can't win a ring. But he won it after his second year in Miami. So Tatum is going to be disrespected until he can win a championship, because year after year, the Celtics are in it. They're near the conference finals. They're near the NBA finals, but they haven't been able to win it. And like I said, Jason Tatum is going to continue to be disrespected until the Celtics hoist number 18 in the air. And I'll probably continue to disrespect him as well, because, it's easy. It's easy for me to make jokes at the expense of, uh, multi-millionaires, which I will continue to do on this show. So if you're not, a fan of that type of stuff, you should probably unsubscribe. Um, but yeah, let's talk some hockey. who's winning the Stanley Cup? I don't have much research on this. This is kind of very anecdotal, but I'm going to take the Oilers and I'm going to take the Panthers, to win their series. And in the Stanley Cup, my pick is Oilers over Peas in 7. Evan Bouchard has been a monster for the Edmonton Oilers, not to mention they have the best player in the league, Connor McDavid. The Peas look pretty damn good. They dominated the New York Rangers tonight, but I think it would be fun to see, Canada get another cup. They invented the sport. So, they deserve more flowers and more trophies. And to fill that Stanley Cup with Molson beer, I don't know if that's the correct beer. SGA would have to check me on that in Canada with Drake and all the Canadian homies. I'm not suggesting. Okay, I probably shouldn't suggest that SGA is friends with Drake, but he is friends with Josh Giddey. So this is why I need guests, because I will say shit where I really should be biting my tongue. So it's nice to have people interrupting me. And I have one more question before we get to first year interruption with Mike Malone. Has the WNBA arrived? Yes, it has, I believe. Caitlin Clark's debut game for the Indiana Fever garnered 2.1 million viewers, which is the most watched WNBA game in the history of ESPN. I couldn't find the stats for overall, but my guess is it was probably the most viewed game ever, not just on ESPN. Unfortunately, Clark has been struggling, but that makes sense since there's so much attention centered on her, both on and off the court. Although rookie Cameron Brink has been lining it up, evidently, for the LA Sparks, who, Nemo, shout out Nemo, he was actually able to meet some LA Sparks on a plane, on a flight back to LA. But yeah, Brink's been lighting it up. Angel Reese has been lighting it up, despite maybe not lighting it up, but Reese has been solid despite a low shooting percentage. But yeah, those three rookies are as talented as they come. So and not to mention Camila Cardoso, she's right up there. Obviously, Clark's the favorite for rookie of the year, but this WNBA rookie of the year race should be quite interesting. And I'm looking forward to tuning into a game. I haven't done so yet, but give me a break. The NBA is in the playoffs. This is just the beginning of the WNBA season. I don't watch the regular season for the NBA, so it's no offense to the ladies in the WNBA. Let's get to our segments. First segment, of course, is always first year interruption. Today we're going to be interrupted by Denver Nuggets head coach Mike Malone. And obviously, the Denver Nuggets have been eliminated. They lost in Game 7 to the Timberwolves. And Mike Malone obviously was not happy about it. So go ahead, interrupt me, Mike Malone, on first year interruption.
Did you feel like there was anything that you guys got away from offensively in that stretch after you reached that point?
I'll have to go back and watch the film.
How hard is it just to absorb a loss like this after going ahead by 20?
Next question, man. The season's over. That's what's hard. Being up 20. The season's over. You don't understand that. The season's over. It's hard. Stupid-ass questions.
Stupid-ass questions. That's what I be doing all the time. But yeah, a couple things about this clip. If you listen closely, probably towards the beginning of the clip, you can kind of hear wolves celebrating in the background. Ow, ow! Wolves, go Wolves. But yeah, maybe not a great question from the reporters. Like, yeah, how did it feel to choke this game? How did it feel to blow a 20-point lead? It's kind of a stupid question, but I do think Mike Malone overreacted. He didn't have to clown the reporters' question. Pun definitely intended there. But yeah, it's kind of a stupid question, but Mike, you can be a professional about it. You're like, yeah, it stings. This one's going to sting for a while. That's what a lot of, coaches will say after they get eliminated. Mike Malone was having none of it. Next question, stupid ass question. Get out of here, reporter. But yeah, that reporter is probably glad to have a somewhat viral moment. Who knows? Maybe the reporter really had their feelings hurt because that was mean from Malone. He's potentially calling the guy stupid. But what's not stupid is the Goosebump moments of the week. Shorter podcast this week, so hopefully you can get it in on your ride to work. You should be able to listen to the whole thing. But let's do the Goosebump moments of the week, which is everyone's favorite moment of the week. If that old adage I've been using is true. Here we go, stuttering our way to the Goosebump moments of the week. Number 10 is a Christopher Morel walk-off single for the Chicago Cubs.
Christopher Morel at the plate. Swinging a line drive base hit to center. Bellinger had to hold up. Rounding third, he's heading home. The throw to the plate. He slides. He is safe. He is safe. Cubs win the ball game. The catcher, Bart, dropped the ball. Christopher Morel being mobbed out at second base. The Cubs win it 1-0.
Number 9, Josh Bell
should give
walks
an
it off
opportunity
for
for
the
Adames
Marlins
and Monasterio to back
Brewers.
up a little bit up the middle.
White delivers. Ground ball, base hit, right field. They've done it again. It's a Marlins walk-off win.
Number 8, Shohei Ohtani's first walk-off as a Dodger.
Here it comes. Ohtani with a base hit to right field. Hayward comes home to score. A showstopper and game ender.
Number 7, Will Brennan walk-off home run for the Cleveland Guardians.
In the 9th inning, in what is now a 2-2 game. Duran's ready in the pitch to Will Brennan. A swing and a drive. High, deep to right. This ball's gone. And a walk-off 3-run home run for Will Brennan. And a mob scene at home.
Number 6, Joe Adell throws it 200 feet on a rope to keep the game alive.
Here comes the throw from Adell. Play at the plate for the win. He is out by a wide margin. Smith is out. Adell with the toss from right. And there's one away in the 10th. On to second base goes Jankowski. He's still the winning run, but Adell keeps the Angels in it. His first assist of the year.
Number 5, Gustav Forsling hits the series winner for the Peas.
Lundell with a wrister stop by Swayman. Forsling, he scores! Gustav Forsling with a minute 33 left.
It didn't look like much at the time right here, but here's Kachuk right here. He's got his head up all the way. He waits because he gets around the first man, and then he plays it to the middle of the day. Center lane drive there by Forsling. Somehow, this puck eludes the goaltender on the shorts. Oh, it goes through the legs of Wotherspoon and in the net behind Swayman.
Number 4, Jaylen Brown hits a tough 3 to send it to OT.
Tatum trying to get free. Throw it in the corner. Brown fakes, fires up the 3. Bang! Bang! Jaylen Brown knocks down the 3 to tie the game. Timeout, Indiana.
Number 3, JT Miller hits the game winner for the Canucks.
Here is Lindholm looking to set at the post. JT Miller scores. .9 remaining.
Matt Duchene, double overtime winner for the Dallas Stars, is the number 2 moment.
Take it in front. It's available. Fought for. Loose. They score! It's Matt Duchene! He wins it in double overtime. And the Dallas Stars are on their way to the Western Conference Final.
And here he gets the OTGWG. And the series is over, and what a shift here.
Number 1 moment of the week, Mackenzie Clark with the game-saving home run robbery. Wow.
Sends it towards the wall. It's brought back in by Mackenzie Clark. Pie in the sky. Rob the homer.
I thought Vega was another walk-off hero, but Mackenzie Clark says no. I'm bringing it back. Holy cow, what a catch. This is what championship play is all about.
Okay, so technically, Mackenzie Clark did make that home run robbery over a week ago. But I still wanted to give her flowers because that was amazing. I didn't catch it at the time. I try to get as many sports and try to catch all the great moments, but inevitably I'm going to miss some. I would love at some point to, have enough people watching this so where I can get submissions so I don't miss anything. Um, but yeah, unfortunately in that game, Duke did go on to defeat Mackenzie Clark and the Clemson Tigers, but that's neither here nor there. Robbing a walk-off home run, very rarely is that not going to be the number one moment of the week in my book. It was still incredible. Let's finish out the show here with my conference finals preview. And if you've been following my previews of the NBA these past 5 weeks, you know not to listen to a word out of my mouth. Every single prediction has been wrong. I flip-flopped on the Nuggets, Timberwolves like 4 times and finally decided Nuggets in 6. That podcast gets posted 15 hours later than I want to, and the Nuggets get sent to a game 7 where they shit the bed. But let's do a conference finals preview. My picks, I got Wolves in 6. I got Celtics in 5. For the MVPs, I have Ant and Jason Tatum. Very vanilla picks, although the Wolves pick maybe is a little more controversial after the Mavericks took game 1. So now I basically have Wolves in 5. The series restarts. They need 4 and 5. So it's probably Wolves in 7 is probably a better pick at this moment in time. But I'm going to stick with my OG pick, Wolves in 6. And then I'm going to insert a graphic here. We had a Goosebump Sports X Goose is Loose collab. So thank you, Goose, for putting together this awesome graphic. Really cool stuff from Goose. But let's just go through what everyone else has got. Everybody has the Celtics winning. Some in 6, some in 5. I don't think anyone is giving Indiana a chance, and I don't see why they should. Indiana's got some good players, but the depth of the Celtics is just not gonna be something the Pacers can overcome in my book, and in Goose, Dr. Jones, Jana's minds as well. 3 out of the 4 of us have Jason Tatum winning East MVP. Jones's pick is interesting. He has Derek White winning East MVP. He also has Cat winning MVP. I could definitely see it happening for Derek White. But sorry, Jones, I don't foresee the Cat MVP. I think if the Wolves win that series, it's because Anthony Edwards put up 25 a game and 10 boards and 10 assists in a bunch of games. So, hey, who knows if Cat wins the West MVP? That would probably be one of the funniest possible outcomes. But yeah, if you're looking to bet on this, maybe make a parlay out of it. Looks like Dr. Jones has the best odds on the 4-pick parlay at plus 777,000. Almost plus 800,000. So if you want to make the money, go with Jones picks. You got lower odds on everyone else. Me and Jana both got Ant Edwards MVP. And Goose is actually, everyone else picked the Wolves, but Goose is the one who picked the Mavericks. So that's the only series that we have differing views on. And Goose is looking nice after the Wolves lost game 1 at home, and the Mavericks took it home. Obviously, as Luka as MVP, although Kyrie was hooping tonight. But yeah, let me just preview these games real quick to end the show. Celtics Pacers. Right now, the Celtics are up 1-0. But damn, did the Pacers almost have that game. They blew a lead. They pulled the Reggie Miller, not the Reggie Miller, scored 9 points in 9 seconds. The Reggie Miller gesture that was famous. The Pacers choked. They should have had that one. Jaylen Brown made a miracle 3 where I think a Twitter troll captioned it, Siakam had his hands in his butt on that play. I wouldn't go that far, but Siakam's hands were at his sides when Brown hit that incredible 3. So I don't know. He was just out of position, I guess. But man, if the Pacers were going to steal this series, this was a game they had to have. They could have stolen home court advantage from the Celtics. But like I said, I just don't see it. Even with the Kristaps injury, I don't think, I think Horford matches up decently with Miles Turner. And the Pacers don't have a ton of incredible big men outside of that. Obviously, Spicy P is kind of a 4, a small ball 5 maybe. But I think the Celtics will be able to defend him and Halliburton okay. Um, like I said in the Goose's Loose graphic, I got the Celtics in 5. And if the Pacers were gonna make this a series, game 1 was where they had it. I still think they can steal a game, but the Celtics are arguably the most stacked team in the NBA. So I'm going with Boston all the way. As for the Timberwolves Mavericks series, um, I just watched T Wolves Mavericks. Granted, I only was able to watch the last 5 minutes of the game, so I didn't learn everything I needed to know. Luca and Kyrie both put up 30 plus points in this game. Uh, Neither of them could be stopped offensively. And like I said, I only watched 5 minutes, so I don't know if this is the case. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But they had Ant Edwards guarding Kyrie and Jaden McDaniels guarding Luca. I might be overthinking this, but maybe they just switched the two, put Ant on Luca and Jaden on Kyrie. Obviously, we all think Ant is a better player than Jaden McDaniels, but McDaniels is probably a better defender. And while Luca's the better scorer than Kyrie, I think we need McDaniels' defense on Kyrie because Kyrie's just a much more shifty player, much more crafty in the lane. Kyrie's it's weird to say Kyrie's a easier player to defend than Luca. I don't know if that's true, but I think McDaniels and Ant's skill sets match up better. I think Ant's better at defending the perimeter, and McDaniels can kind of take these drives in the lane and make sure Kyrie's not getting 30 points off of floaters like he did today in game 1. But yeah, going into the series, I didn't think the Mavs could match up with the big 3 of bigs on the Timberwolves, which of course are Cat, Rudy Gobert, and Naz Reid, but they did a good job tonight. Cat and Gobert each had 7 rebounds, and Derek Lively and Gafford, the bigs for the Mavs, had, I believe, 11 and 9 rebounds. So they got out rebounded. Their bigs did. And Naz Reid played well off the bench. Maybe he needs some more minutes because it doesn't seem like the Mavs. Gafford is a traditional big man, but Lively's maybe more of a small ball 4. But I mean, Lively has been lively this postseason. Put back dunks and just getting every rebound, offensive and defensive. So it's going to be tough for me to stay with this pick, but I have to. I got to stay true to this Goose's Loose graphic, which I'm referencing again and probably had up the entire time while I am giving a lackluster, conference finals preview that isn't going to help anyone betting wise, unless you bet in the opposite. Fade me, then maybe you'll make some money. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Wolves in 6. It's almost Wolves in 5, like I said now, because they already lost game 1. But I still think the Wolves can pull it off. They just maybe switch Ant and Jaden defensively, and yeah, Ant had a decent game tonight, but I don't think 19 points is going to cut it against arguably the best pure scorer in the NBA in Luca, who's putting up 30 minimum a game. Jaden McDaniels had 24 tonight, but if he's their leading scorer, it might not be the best case scenario against the high flying offense of the Mavericks. I'm impressed with the Mavericks. A lot of role players have stepped up, namely PJ Washington and of course Lively and Gafford I mentioned, and Derek Jones Jr. He's catching lobs, and I believe Derek Jones Jr. is matching up against Ant. So he's the one guarding Anthony Edwards. He did a decent job tonight. But like I said, I gotta stick with the OG pick. Timberwolves in 6, Celtics in 5, and I talked to Nemo about this recently. He's the resident Celtics fan. I talked to him, and he asked me why people are disrespecting Tatum so much, and I told him why. But I said it in a mean way. I kind of said it like, I think, yeah, Tatum is one of the he's got the most unfulfilled potential of any player in the league, which is not a fair criticism because he's had a great career. And his team's always in it, down the final stretch. But the Celtics should win the finals. They're the betting odds favorite in Vegas. And I even told Ethan that I do think they're going to win the finals. And I'm worried about the confidence spike he might get from that, because the past however many 5 years I've known him, every year he's been confident and has told me the Celtics are going to win the finals. And I told him, you know what? I agree. They're winning it. Your confidence is soaring. But I don't want that to happen. And I do think Ant Edwards has that dog in him. So I'm going to keep switching up picks just like I've been doing every week. People switch up on you these days. Give me Wolves over Celtics in 7.